In a quiet corner of Western Ireland, beneath the surface of an ordinary housing estate, lies a mass grave with no headstones, no memorials, nothing to acknowledge the hundreds of children buried there. For decades, there was no trace at all, just silence. Now, excavations have finally begun, set to span more than 2 years. The investigation comes over a decade after an amateur historian uncovered chilling evidence of a mass burial site. Then, in 2016 and 2017, test excavations confirmed the unthinkable. The remains of numerous infants buried in a disused underground septic tank beneath what is now an ordinary housing estate. Further inquiry found that no alarm was in fact raised by the state over them, even though it was known to local and national authorities and in fact recorded in official publications. It brings to the fore a dark chapter in the history of once overwhelmingly Catholic and socially conservative Ireland. Catholic nuns ran so-called mother and baby institutions there between 1925 and 1961, housing women who had become pregnant outside of marriage and had been shunned by their families. They were separated from their children, some of whom lived in the homes while others were given up for adoption under a system that often was overseen by the church and the state together. Oppressive and deeply misogynistic, this was one of the many institutions that operated nationwide. Some closed only as recently as 1998. Initial discoveries had in fact sparked a 6-year inquiry. The findings will make you shudder. 56,000 unmarried women and 57,000 children passed through 18 such homes over a period of 76 years. The findings also concluded that 9,000 children died in the various state and Catholic church-run homes all over the country. Of these, 796 died at the Tuam house in the 36 years that it was operated. The local historian, Catherine Corliss, whose research and findings led to the discovery, produced state-issued death certificates that she had in fact compiled over the years. They showed that various ailments, from tuberculosis to convulsions to measles and whooping cough, that were listed as the cause of death. Now, records also reveal Patrick Derain was the first baby to die in 1925. The baby was just 5 months old. Mary Carty was about the same age and was the last baby to die in 1960. After many years, in 2023, a team of Ireland's Office of the Director of Authorised Intervention was finally appointed to lead the excavation at the Tuam site. The assignment that ODATE is undertaking has experts from Colombia, Spain, Britain, Canada, and the US working on it. It involves exhumation, analysis, even identification, if at all possible. DNA samples have already been collected from around 30 relatives. And the director, Daniel McSweeney, says that this process will be expanded in the coming months to gather as much genetic evidence as possible. Anna Corrigan, whose 2 siblings may have been buried at the site, says that these children were denied every human right in their short lifetime, as were their mothers. They were denied dignity and respect in death, in a dark chapter of Ireland's past.